You fucking did it, dude.
You just did it. Oh my god, it's Kaiju 8. He ate a kaiju.
Oh, Megan, you fucking genius, dude. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Kafka Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by...
Megan, Spiky Perrine.
Okay.
Cody Cockroach Decker.
That's a good one.
And that is, that fits.
I fell off
if
the
the
ball.
shoe fits.
I fell off. I'm
this
sorry.
is the one time that you have failed.
Yeah.
Oh, this mask is so hot. Thank you for watching and listening. Today is like a part 2 kind of.
Not kind of. It's the second part of a
volume done-ish of Kaiju.
Okay. Don't hurt yourself. I'll take it from here. Today, instead of a volume 1, the gang will be discussing chapters 8 through 19 of Kaiju number 8. I guess you could call it a volume sum.
that's a great
and if you
idea.
haven't
That's better.
seen or heard our first episode, you can click here. Josh, can you make yourself useful and point, won't you?
Okay, click here, and you
Nice
can see
job.
part 1, volume 1. That was great, actually. I want to hate on it, but that was really
And then
concise.
you did make yourself
Josh, that was
useful
solid
at the end,
pointing.
too.
Thank you guys so much.
Give it up for Josh for the
Wow,
point.
that feels good. I like the applause.
And it was more so for her, too.
Did
but-
you? Oh, you.
Did you thank her?
Thank you, volume 1, Chan.
Thank you, Volume 1, Sean.
And thank you again for watching and listening. Do make sure to click up here if you haven't seen part 1 of our Kaiju number 8 video. This suit is so fucking hot. Oh my god. Yeah, we actually got a lot of comments to do a part 2 or to discuss more of Kaiju number 8. We got spammed by one of our listeners. Great guy, great person. Playboy._A. Multiple comments suggesting that we would do a part 2 of some sort, but even equally or more exciting than that is, and I hope this is real. We got a comment from someone who said that they work on the English version of Kaiju number 8, and after doing a little bit of digging, a little bit of cursory research,
in that his name is on the.
yeah, and his name is is literally on the first page of every chapter.
You did it, though.
The name, the lettering, the person in charge of lettering matches the username of the commenter. So I'm really hoping that this is real. But shout out to Brandon Bovia, who does the lettering for the official Kaiju number 8 English release, aka BJ Bovia. And if it's not the real guy, then Brandon just got a free shout out. You know?
Oh, and BJ Bovia, if you're listening to this, I can definitely be your new assistant and help you out with any other lettering you need to do. Just let me know.
Okay.
Wow.
How quick you are to leave us.
She wants to leave because you're
How
so
quick.
mean to her.
Mm.
I'm not mean to her. I'm so nice to her.
Yeah.
I'm a little too nice to her.
You know who's really nice?
Kafka.
Kafka.
Yes,
Good
dude.
Lord, he is very nice.
So if it's not clear already, this series is a series that we're absolutely in love with. Some of us sexually attracted to characters in this series, but it's a series
One.
that we all love in one way, in one form or another. Dude, in rereading this too, to prepare for this part 2, it was equally, if not more enjoyable upon second read. Did you guys have the same experience?
Such an easy, pleasant read.
It
Yeah.
really is. It's so much fun and it's so funny and everything just does its job and you're like, wow, this feels complete.
Yeah, there's no sense of like, oh, okay, how many chapters are left here? I was just, you just breezing through, just like that was so nice. Here comes the next chapter.
Yeah, dude, it's so well done. It's so well written, well drawn. Everything is so well
Well-lettered.
executed.
Well lettered.
Those
BJ.
letters? Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, that's-
They're a standout. And I mean that. I just had so much fun reading this again. I thought it was I was a little worried that we weren't going to have enough to talk about, but then I realized, because we did go pretty in depth
we kind of
into the second volume in our first video, but
because we couldn't stop ourselves from just
Yeah.
talking. It was like, let's cheat a little.
and that episode was longer than most of our volume ones tend to be, but it was because we couldn't shut up about this series. And I mean, there is one moment that I'm really excited to talk about. It takes place over the course of a couple chapters, but it's a really powerful, sweet, just cool moment. And I'm glad we get to go more in depth with that and talk more about that. And we want to do more Kaiju number 8 videos too. We're trying to figure out what the format for that would be. So any suggestions, or if you want us to keep doing these videos, let us know.
But I
But
don't think Volume 3 is even.
it's not even out in Japan yet. No.
Yeah, so this is cool how new it is. So
Yeah.
it's nice being there for it.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, like, you know, upon rereading, I can confidently say that this is one of my top 3 manga series. I don't know if I can say of all time, but definitely that's ongoing currently. It's Chainsaw Man, Kaiju number 8, and if I had to pick a third, I could.
Mm-hmm.
We know what your
Nagatoro.
third is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like. I was like, oh, I'll reread this and see if it was it. I was just like so in the moment. I loved it, and like looking back, am I not gonna like it as much like reading Volume 2? No, this is great. I love it. It's like I forgot that like, oh no, that guy rules, that guy rules, that guy rules, that girl rules, everyone rules in this.
Yeah.
Everyone rules.
Dude, everybody does rule, man. And everything is so epic. And it's created in such a way that I can't help but like jump out of my seat and root for these guys. Like, I'm like, I want to say like, fuck yeah, when I'm reading it, like out loud, which is weird. But let's just kind of go through some of the stuff that happened in Volume 2. We can kind of breeze over some of the stuff we already covered. But where we left off was basically where, and I'm terrible with character names, especially because of the amount of stuff that we tend to read. It's hard to remember everybody's name. So I have a list here. But Kikoru is the rich girl, right? Who is, again, we talked about this in part 1, but, an absolute delight.
Having the nice twist on a tsundere character.
Yeah.
And like making sense why she's like that. But, and also like showing that like she's still like a cool person.
Yeah. Yeah. We get this. I think where we left off, she was facing the humanoid kaiju, and Kafka had come to her rescue, and she had discovered that she's the first person other than Reno, right? To know his secret, that he is that he can't turn into a kaiju, and she questions it momentarily.
And
but then
that's when you get your first him of like he has his back turned to her and he's like, I'm here, and then he goes, please don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that a joke a lot is him like you really cannot be cool.
I love it though, dude. Like I love it. The comedy, again, the humor, those beats land every time, and they never get old. It's just so funny.
It's like I forget that he is still that guy.
Yeah.
So like I believe it in that moment where he's like, and I'll take care of this, and he goes, whoa, well, hold on. I'm like, all right, you're right. Yeah, it's Kafka.
Yeah, dude, he's like an everyman kind of guy. He's just a really fucking cool dude.
Yeah, and like the movement in general for this manga, like already, like the movement, it's so well done. So you just, it's so believable, and there's so much energy to it that like it's happening. Like I'm not just reading it on a page. Like this is a situation, which is like,
yeah, I can hear it. I can, see it in motion. It's just so, you're right. So everything is so dynamic and fluid in the way that it's executed. I love it. But they have this.
It got to be hard to draw something in black and white where like, but you can still tell like, okay, this is going to be glowing when it's like colored. But I'm like, okay, that's like a jet that's like roaring and like blue energy streaks of lightning.
Yeah, which I don't know how in depth we got with that either. But just these transformations, these kaiju transformations that he has, like. His ability, like you said, for these flaps on his elbow to open up and this like sort of like energy blast to come out and propel his fist forward. It's just so fucking cool.
It is a thing where that is super. I still have the issue of didn't really show me how he just knows how to do that.
I completely forgot about that. It
is still like a thing that the story just glosses over. I love this story still, but it is like, are we ever going to get like that addressed? That he just sort of
I'll say it. I don't care if we do or don't.
And they do say like, oh, like he's that power is it's the craziest kaiju power to ever exist. And I just like read that line and I was like, Cody's probably fucking like.
It is. I mean, I can like things and still have issues with them, and that's this thing. I'm like, yeah, did you really earn that?
I'm having such a good time. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't. I guess I normally would. It would be something that maybe would trip me up or bother me, but I'm just enjoying the ride so far. It's also this cool moment where she kind of questions him for a second and then agrees to not tell anybody else. And so we already have her on Team Kafka, Team Kaiju number 8. And,
one of the lines was because he beats the monster that like she like because they can regenerate, and he goes, regenerate from that. And then
Yeah.
it does, and he goes, "No, wait, that was the they're like twice
Yeah.
in a row," and I got me at both times.
Yeah, dude. It's so fucking funny every time, and it's so well written. And it goes back to just Kafka being this like not an average Joe, but he's just like an everyman, I think is a better way to say it. And he's just
I think those mean like the same thing.
Average Joe sounds a little more like mediocre.
An average Joe is an everyman. This is a weird thing.
No, but an everyman implies that you're more relatable, and an average Joe is just like, to me in my own mind and my own head, is that you're just like a little more mediocre.
Well, he's my
average. You'd be
he's
mediocre Mike.
He's my everything man.
Yeah, I like it.
Love Kafka.
I love Kafka. And hey, I text you this. I get it now.
Yeah, you guys are like, what do you mean Kaiju form is not hot? Like, did you see the panels I saw? Now you see it.
I do see it, and I do have to give you a formal apology.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want it written out too.
I'll get on it.
Mailed to my house. So.
Yeah, can I deliver it by hand?
No, I want it through the service.
you're not allowed to talk to her the second the episode's over.
Oh yeah, you know the
I forgot
rules.
about that rule.
Yeah. My bodyguards escort me out.
Yeah, that's all 100% true, by the way. After that interaction that they have to, I think we get a little bit more time back at the base, right? We get a little bit more time.
Then it's them
Yeah.
in like the hospital bed because they still got like shot up. And
Oh
injured.
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
He's
right,
like
right.
back in the hospital.
There was a
No
real
Kafka, you.
Yeah.
There was because the real life thing it's about is like pursuing a dream even though you know you're not. And also it's about a lot of the people are like, well, I'm not going to be the best. And it becomes about people accepting that. And then like there was like a really dramatic line of like chasing your dream means you'll always be like worse than someone who's also chasing, and like just knowing that you're all that is how it feels if you pursue anything. It's like you're always going to be comparing yourself to people that are just and there always will be people that are just better at you at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, the moral you kind of get from it is like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just do you. And then Mina comes in to the hospital and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And what did she say?
Oh, that was so cool when
Yeah.
she came in and she just like thanked him.
Yeah.
or thanked both of them, him and
for the
Reno
casualties.
for
no
saving
casualties.
no
yeah.
casualties and for saving Kikoru and
Mhm.
everything. And she kind of just walks out. And again, I think we talked about it in part 1, but it's just he has this moment where he doesn't even really want to engage with her or talk to her too much until he feels like he's deserved it, he's earned it, and so he's like, I will talk to her, I will be by her side one day. And that line that he has about his dreams, it's almost, he flips it on Reno. He says, if you wouldn't have gave me that, it's like a sentimental way he says it at first, like, if you wouldn't have pushed me, I wouldn't have gotten here. And then he flips it and he's like, if you wouldn't have pushed me, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that was pretty funny too.
Yeah, we saw her like leave the room and she was like smiling
Yeah.
from just him, and I'm just like, oh.
I really like you get like so much of the story from like a little bit of body language on her.
Mhm.
Yes. And I love how they're able to capture that through the subtlety of that smile that we see later too.
The smallest smirk,
Yeah.
and you understand a lot about her character.
It is I think the how small that smirk is makes it even bigger, and it makes it even more powerful, because I even upon second reading had to look at it and question,
I
like,
checked it like, wow, it is such a small
Yeah.
little smirk, but you know that she's like, oh,
Yeah.
my friend's back.
Yeah. Because it's like she like kind of lost her composure for a second, but in a good way. She kind of barely cracked, and it's just so cool.
And part of it being like completely fair is like she's not giving him any advantage from just knowing her, which I like. Because like when it was like, well, Kafka failed the thing, and then does anyone have any objection? She doesn't be like, well, he's my friend, and we
Yep.
should give him a chance. Don't tell him no. But she is like, well, if everyone else thinks he failed, like that's fair.
And she's like, I get it. I think someone even says like it's pretty cut and dry. Like, it is what it is. And I love that too. I love that there's he has no easy way out. He does have to earn everything.
Yeah.
This is an adult's hero.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this guy.
Yeah.
I am like,
I like it.
because
Yeah.
he doesn't cheat. He doesn't get any like, well, actually, you helped me out. Turns out I have all these advantages you can get in on. And like, even he has to like earn everything. And it feels so nice to see him like do it. And how he's not like, oh, maybe I should do this. Doesn't even come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think at that point too, after we see them in the hospital, we get a couple months time skip ahead, right?
Get to the ceremony where, and that's when he's like,
Oh, right.
Because it's a lot of him like in his mind being like, I will stand by your side. And then during the ceremony where like his instructor who's just laughing at him the entire course is like, I want him to pass because I think he's really funny.
Yeah.
And then you get the thing where he's also like, also there's some energy readings and his readings went off and
yeah.
So it's not, he isn't just like, he's so funny, I want him on. There's clearly something going on with this guy though.
Yeah. And that's kind of the reason, the reasoning
astute.
behind going, or covering just chapters 8 through 19, because at the end of chapter 19 is when he sort of comes into the fray a little bit more. And there's a moment, a cliffhanger moment that is just
the volumes end like before where you feel like the arcs normally would. Like volume 1 ends like right before they do the wind down of that thing. And volume 2 ends right before you get the wind down and then here's the thing that's going to happen. It's very
chapter
odd.
19 would have been a fantastic place to leave it on, but you're right, it always ends like a chapter before resolving that issue, or a chapter before.
Like it feels like volume 1 should have ended like after they they do the thing and then he's like, and I will be by your side, and then volume 2. I don't know if it what kind of complaint it just seems weird that they always it's now twice in a row.
I mean, I do have a tremendous amount of empathy for not only pacing a story so that the chapters that you're including don't make the story stale, but can fill an entire volume. And then on an even like more granular level, you have to make sure that every panel is encouraging the reader to turn to the next page too. So there's so many things they have to take into consideration.
It's not like it doesn't work. Where volume 1 ends, I am like, well, now I have to. And where volume 2 ends, it's because it ends right before the story resolves. I'm like, well, now I have to keep going.
If it wasn't as well done, it would seem not good. Like it'd be like, why is that? Why is this happening more than once? And you'd be like, okay, but it's fine. Like I don't care.
And you just love the character so much. You're like, I'm here.
It works, and I don't have any issues with it. It's just interesting how that's how these volumes end, like right before that story arc ends.
Yeah.
So each volume starts with that story arc and ending.
Yeah. And then the ceremony thing was very cool too. I like how they played with that moment where it seems like Kafka didn't make it. He didn't, get that position, and he kind of stumbles in. A little late, but he was told to wait outside because he wasn't allowed to be in there during the ceremony that again, I keep forgetting her name, but Kikuru was a part of.
Because she got number 1, and it is like,
of course.
Yeah, but she was like even saying like, why am I up here? Like it should be you. Like obviously you can't because you're like a kaiju. But she's like, you should be taking this spot. Like I don't deserve this. What are you mocking me?
Because part of the honor is like, and you defeated the monster. She's like, no, I didn't.
Not really.
I guess another really cool thing is, and again, I don't want to generalize, but in certain series that I've seen before that moment where, let's just say an Asta comes into the room and he
don't mention that name.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to go there. And he has no magical abilities. There is this moment where, everybody in the, training grounds will look at him and go like, what the fuck is he doing here? Like,
what's the non-magical guy doing at the magical center?
Yeah, like I'm going to crush him. I'm going to purposely get paired with him so I can beat him easily.
I'm going to trip him when we get partnered as teammates. That's going to show that guy you don't show up at this magical facility.
Dude, but it's so much cooler to see Kafka walk in and he's sort of earned at least a little respect from his peers. Like his peers, he gets in there and everybody kind of goes like, I get it. Like, he deserves to be here on some level. And that's so refreshing. It really is.
Not just like, oh, this guy sucks. Like everyone saw what he did.
Yeah.
And everyone noticed that he had like the tools in order to be better. He's just not that great at combat when he's not in Kaiju. But he was like pointing out all the this has like a, reproductive organs and we got to do this because they'll start spawning. And Bowl Cut, I call him Bowl Cut. He's like, oh yeah, you're actually pretty good, dude. Like good job. And I'm like, everyone's everyone's like, wow, that was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
they're not just like, oh, it's not all just rival shit, which I kind of get upset about when it comes to this
There's
type of thing.
almost no rival.
They are, but, like,
they play with a
they're not.
rival type character later on that I really like that turn on the
like, they're all like, I need to be better, I need to be better, I need to be better. But it's
Well,
not like
yeah.
I need to be better because like I'm the best. It's like I need to be better because
and that his
For
friend,
me,
his
not-
friend's motive for wanting to be better is great.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so wholesome.
yeah.
It's that he just doesn't want him to have to transform, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and that's just because they talk about it when they talk to
Yeah, to Kikaru.
where it's like, I'll only do this in emergency bait, and she's like, and if you go crazy, I'll kill you. And he goes, if I go crazy, I hope you do. Like basically, like, yeah, that is a good idea. Which
Yeah.
is so nice because that's the kind of guy he is. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
you
they
should.
say that like he's like in a situation like this, he would change in a heartbeat, like to save other people. Like it's
Yeah.
not just
And he
for
wants
show.
to, but he wants to be strong enough so that that's not even an option.
Because she brings up that like if they find out about you, they're gonna dissect you until they can, because they also use monster parts of strong monsters for weapons, so they're gonna harvest you.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, and so his friends is like, I have to make sure, like, if every time, if I was just a little bit stronger, he wouldn't have to risk his body
Doing
and
that.
life.
Yeah, and back to the rival thing real quick, too. I do feel like they play with it in a way with other characters, like with, I don't know how to say his name, but with Oi and Haruichi, the two guys, the one who they have the scene with, the one guy who walks in and he's like super buff.
Mhm.
And
I love that. I mean, not because of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
because of that.
Can we
not
just
because of
talk
that.
about that whole?
Not. I want to talk about that scene because it was so good. Like it was
Right.
so nice to see them all
No, it was.
bonding.
There was a really they do the thing about, and this is the thing I can relate to, where they're showing like muscles, and Kafka's like, yeah, this is manual labor muscles.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I
And
love
it-
that.
This is man muscles right here.
This
little
is like
boys.
a working man's body.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
all of them are like much younger than he is, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, but your belly."
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
He's like, "What?"
I thought that was so fucking cool.
And then they're like, because then they find out that because a lot of their motives is like, Mina saved me.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I want to be by Mina. Like,
I think everybody's motive was that.
everyone wants to be by Mina.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, Mina want to be with you."
And what I got from it, like, because
I like
it is,
that.
this like always doesn't do the thing that a worse manga would do, which is like, they don't say like, and I want to marry her.
Right.
Like, no one, I didn't see anyone be like,
No.
and she's so cute.
It's
she's
not
so
attraction; it's respect.
A lot of them is like, I owe her my life. That's why I got into this. I also want to do this, and I want to be on her level. It was
And-
so
Yeah.
nice that like it just stays there.
No one got jealous either when he revealed that he was a childhood friend. Like
They just like, what
Yeah.
is she? What's she like? They just fanboy over
Exactly.
her, and to the point where they overheat and like have to
Yeah.
cool down.
But
Yeah,
I liked it because it was like, okay, we're gonna show the guys versus
right,
the
all the
girls.
girls bathing.
in the bathing house. Yeah, it's so
Oh, I
played
didn't
out.
even think
A
about
lot of things in this are already like female gaze oriented, which is not a lot of things that you see in manga regularly. Like we had this scene, and then we had the comment later where like the captain's like, "Oh yeah, like I'm so excited for these new
Oh,
recruits,"
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you're talking about their looks."
Yeah.
She's like, y'all like drooling, and I
She's
was
a
like,
fun character too.
"She's fun." I'm scared.
Yeah.
Because he's like, don't get too close because
Yeah,
you never
and
know
sh-
what could happen. I was like, I swear to God, if one of these characters dies already, I'm going to be
Oh.
pissed.
And I think that's what they're setting up. And
Oh,
even
yeah.
with the kind of the climax, I guess, of volume 2, like you almost believe that someone might get got.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. But I just wanted to point that out because I think it's.
But yeah,
cool.
with the rival characters too, those two characters that I was talking about, the one with the abs and then
Mm-hmm.
the other guy, even them, it's almost like everybody is using each other's strengths as inspiration to become stronger, but not like out of some weird sort of like. It's not pride, or it's not a hollow, empty
it's not
rivalry.
a Bakugo Deku.
It's like they all
rivalry.
want to like I don't know. It just feels different.
There are like groups where it's like you're motivated by seeing how like buff someone else is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like a different mentality, because you can also be like, oh, they probably did something, but like there are people that like hype each other up.
Yeah.
And that's what these are bros hanging out.
Yeah. And they're
And-
almost like inspired by their peers, you know? And that's something that you just don't see. It's always like, it always seems like it comes from jealousy.
Yeah.
Or it always seems like it comes from a negative space. And this seems like it's coming from a positive space, but it's that locker room type of just like, I can fucking lift more than that guy, or I can fucking, run faster than that guy. I don't know. It's just different. And I like it.
It is like, I got manual labor muscle, and the guy's just like, well, okay, he works out a lot, and be like,
Yeah.
all right, nice. It is like,
Yeah.
all right, good for that guy.
Yeah.
I think we kind of went over the reason why Mina smiled.
In the first part.
Because
Right.
when he declares that he's going to stand by her side,
Yeah. And he says her
he yells
name.
it, which I thought I was like, was it that he didn't realize he was yelling it, or
Yeah, I think it kind of slipped, but he also called her Mina instead of calling her formal
No one
title.
calls her
Yeah.
Mina.
Yeah, and and they also reveal too in the bathhouse, because that was a moment where he pretty much outs himself as her childhood friend in a way.
well, because and they're like, you said her name, like, do you know? Yeah,
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
we learn later in the bath when they're all bathing that there's a captain or lieutenant bowl cut when he says like, yeah, anything that happens in this base is
We
fair
hear.
game. We hear everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
And he goes, that's not creepy.
yeah, not creepy at all.
No.
But then we get to that like couple month time skip, right, where everybody sort of is in the middle of training super super hard. Reno's progressed. I think he's at 18% of his potential now, and that's when we're seeing the rivalry kind of spark, and we're seeing Kafka.
because there is the character who you think is going to be the dick bag rival guy who's like, oh, he thinks he's better than me.
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dick bag. And it's even, I kind of even get it when it's at that level, because he's like, I've been training for way longer. Why is that guy like, it is just like, it is like that. That sucks.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, that would suck if someone just shows up in there. And he doesn't know that, like, well, his motive is now to save his friend. That's
Yeah.
why he's like, that's why he's progressing faster.
well, yeah, 'cause-
Yeah, that line. I was not expecting that.
Which one?
He's like, please save my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, damn.
Well, yeah,
Y'all
because
that close now?
everybody's kind of paired off, and everybody has the person that they're trying to outdo, right? And so it's that like I can't say this guy's name,
Let me
but
see.
it's Aoi and Haruichi. Like they're kind of paired off.
Owie.
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 It sounds. Yeah, it sounds
Owie.
like
What does it sound
Owie.
like? What does
sounds
a
like a-
person's name
it sounds
sound
like I have a boo boo.
Yeah, boy.
But then you also have
And Kafka is super pumped about going from 0 to 1%.
that was a joke that we couldn't, like, we loved so much. We mentioned it in part 1 too, but again, upon second reading, loved it even more, dude. So endearing. It makes me so endeared to him.
He's so funny.
And it's
Yeah.
the when they do get sent out on the mission, and they jump off. You can just see in the
Oh,
background,
yeah.
Kafka's like, he's just like sliding down the building because
Yeah.
he doesn't even have enough power to do their like action hero shot.
Hilarious. But yeah, everybody's paired off, and so Reno kind of has this like sort of rivalry with Iharu. And that's sort of what leads into the conclusion of the second volume. But we also see like Kafka having to study and become stronger the only way he really can outside of physical training is staying up super late in the library or in the study or in the reference room, I think they call it. And yeah,
It's so sweet. Like,
he's putting in the work.
what's his name? His buddy?
Reno?
Yeah, Reno's
Yeah.
like, yeah. He's like, of course he's excited. This is the job he's always wanted. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
he's finally here.
It's so cool, man.
And it's nice to see that, like, oh, he's like his role is becoming the smart tactical one, and unless something bad happens, that's his like human role.
Yeah.
And it is that you get, like, oh yeah, he like studies for like hours, and you just see that, and people like comment like, you have to get rest. That is
Yeah.
part of this.
Rest is part of the training. I think they say something along those
Yeah, and
lines.
it was just like so like supportive of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're like, take it easy, man. Like you can like he's working his ass off to like make up for his faults. And
And
it's
then
like
you
that's a role model, man.
Yeah, and you even have that cool teacher moment with bowl cut guy Soshiro, where he's sort of like it almost seems like he's going to be in trouble for staying in the room past curfew. And he asked him what he's doing, and he said he's going to train hard. And he said, "I heard you say you want to be by your side, so you're coming from my spot." And he's like, no. And then he's like, actually, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
love
exactly
that.
what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
yeah.
That's
Because-
exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, ha, 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 I think you can take my
And then he has
spot."
this cool teacher moment where he just, throws the keys on the table, and he's like, "Make sure to lock up, kid." You know?
Yeah, I was like, that guy's really cool. You think he's gonna be like, I'm in love with her, and you will never get this job.
Well-
but and he's just like, all right, well, good luck. Here's your.
yeah.
Yeah, I just like how like everyone is like much younger than he is. And he has to just, like, respect these people that are, like, younger. And he's just like, you know what? This is part of the fucking... He's just there. He's like, I'm having a good time. I'm studying.
Which also kind of leads me to believe, because I think, this moment with Soshiro in the I'll just call it the study, where he gives him the keys. I think at that point, he already allowed Kafka to be a part of the team, being fully aware that his whatever went off radar during that Kaiju number 8 incident. So he already has a suspicion that might be him.
Yeah.
But he's still like doing him all these solids. So I think, even though it seems ominous at a certain point in the story where he says, like, in the meeting room, when he's like, but I have my own reasons.
Yeah.
I think that they're just playing with him being a little more sinister than he actually might end up being.
And I think what I got from him being like, and I also want to keep an eye on him. I think that just shows how, like, he is, like, playful and fun, and you do see that, but he is, like, the deeply analytical, like, cautious mind. So he's like, let me make sure, though. I didn't take it as like yes, it's all we must make sure. I think it was like
according to my plan.
I think it was like, I like that guy. Also, there might be something up with him, and I want to just see if that's right.
Yeah, and then something happens. I think when we get more into Volume 3-ish territory, and then it gets even more interesting. But we're gonna talk about that at a different time. But yeah, so we see kind of everybody's strengths and how they've gotten stronger, and now Kikuru's at like 55%.
Yeah,
and which out of 100, and
she's
that's
like,
where...
ha ha ha, you fucking losers.
Because the guys are like, well, I'm at like 22, I'm at 23.
Yeah.
55, they're like, yeah.
And I love how it's like just respect to her. It's like not how they could easily just have someone be like, you're a fucking girl. Like,
No one's
that's
saying
never
that.
brought up. It's just like, wow, no, she's actually really good.
Yeah.
This
What,
is the
dude?
power of her.
Yeah.
That's so funny. No one ever brings that up. Not even that she's
No.
a girl, or that she's a little girl either.
No.
Like, it's just never talked about. They just give her the credit she's due.
Yeah, because she's badass.
Yeah. And they don't even make fun of her for being rich.
Or
Yeah.
short.
Oh.
It
Yeah,
felt really
Josh.
personal.
Josh, that was for Josh.
That's what
And you.
Yeah, and you
I'm
dweeb.
perfectly
Yeah, you fucking
average height.
Shorties.
You goofball. Oh, did you call us shorties or shotties? Shotties.
Shorties.
Shorty is a term of endearment, isn't it?
Yeah, like my shot. This is
But
my
I didn't mean it that
shouty.
way. I didn't mean it that way.
Okay,
You
no.
want to come for me, bitch? Oh. That's what he said. Oh.
Wow. Megan's like, really flexing her muscles
He
today.
said, because I'm a strong...
You are.
Kofka.
You're a Kikaru.
I'm Kikaru. Kikaru Kofka combo.
Yes. Yeah. You're like if Kikaru became a kaiju.
Oh.
And we got her back, Cody.
I
We got her
like
back.
it.
We got her back.
No, it is really not, and they also don't excuse it. I think it just it does a lot of like showing you how you can react. This is kind of like, this is how you should react to seeing if someone's like clearly better than you, being like, all right, I gotta really work harder than I thought I had
Not
to.
hate them.
Yeah.
I hate you for being better than me, but I'm not going to do anything to change it.
Instead,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
gonna sabotage you.
Yeah, it's like, bro, just get better, do better.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like all that stuff ends up doing is sort of like prolonging the story or delaying the story. But this, by like excluding all of these things, it keeps it moving. By no one getting hung up on these like small things, these tropes, it keeps it fresh and it keeps it going forward.
And this is, I actually really like the percentage system the more I see it,
Yeah, me
because
too.
you see how it helps them as a team, which is like, all right, well, I'm at 23. Someone's like, all right, well, that means I got to work that little bit harder. And then if someone is like, well, now I'm at 35, you're like, all right, I got to remember. And then you have like an actual number on like
Yeah.
the work
Yeah.
you're putting into a thing.
Yeah.
And so you can see how that could, instead of being like, I'm like, oh, presumably a 30% punch hurts harder than a 20%.
Yeah. And I think even at this point too, I could be wrong and skipping ahead a little bit, but I do think we're sort of starting to be introduced to the types of rounds that they're putting in there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
at the end of, because their first thing is going through guns, and something about force of will or technique, whatever, lets you exert more in your suit and more in the gun, because the guns use monster parts. Particularly strong monsters get stronger, the parts will be stronger, and that's what their ammo and the guns themselves are made from it.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone does 55%, they're able to like transfer that energy into the weapon. That's what makes it like more powerful.
And it can be a electricity round. It could be a
freeze round.
freeze
Very
round.
video game like. Was a
Very
huge,
video game like.
Huge fan of that because I would play the heck out of this video game.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I'd start getting into video games if they made a Kaiju number 8.
You
one.
play Pokemon in
I
Animal
fucking love
Crossing.
Pokemon.
So you
And I love
you
Animal
already
Crossing.
play video games.
Yeah,
Don't
but
act
you know
like
what? I think it feels like you're shitting on me, and I think you're calling.
What?
It feels like you're calling the games I play not real video games.
I mean,
No,
they're
you tried to-
Nintendo.
I love Nintendo. I love Pokemon.
Yeah, you try to say like you don't play video games.
Well, I don't play the cool ones according to Cody.
This is
They're
showing a
never
lot of. I didn't even mean that. You're showing
Yeah.
a lot of your insecurities.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never said you were a scrub who has no game. That's not what I said.
Well, if you want to know what my friend code is and, go on
You
some
didn't say
max
you
raids
were-
with me, then
you
let me
didn't-
know in the
You
comments.
didn't say you were a noob, low
Absolutely.
level.
Would never say that.
No.
I see what you're doing now. And I'm going to be Kafka about it, and I'm just going to let it roll off my back, and I'm going to work harder.
Good.
And speaking of working harder, he's doing his best at this point. But after we get those moments with all these characters and we're kind of back spending time at the base and everything, there's right after that moment where he's caught in the study, the alarms go off. And that's when two things I think that Soshiro, says that are really important. Two things are not to get attached to anybody which seems like a weird thing to say because everybody's so fucking cool.
They
and
always
supportive.
say that.
And it's
Don't get
establishing
attached.
mistakes.
I feel like that was also establishing that like he's been through that because morale in a team is never a bad thing. So he's probably like, I don't know if you want to get so attached so soon.
Yeah.
Because they haven't even got on their first mission yet. So it is like I think it was like I see you guys are getting pretty close. You might want to not do that yet.
Put up some barriers.
That seems like
Yeah.
something that happens for someone who's learned that.
Yeah. And the second thing he said that I think was super important was that in this percentage system, what typically tends to happen is everybody hits a wall around 20. And that wall is a hard wall that very, very few will ever.
Yeah, most people cap out at that and they
Yeah.
retire at around that range.
Yeah.
But these recruits specifically started at that range.
And these recruits specifically are showing a lot of promise, but he even says more than anyone outside of Kikaru that Reno is showing the potential to become one of the strongest lieutenants or captains.
Mhm.
Which was cool because he did not start at the second highest power in
Not
the
at
beginning
all,
either.
yeah.
Like it's not like, oh well, he just had that. There was like a couple people that were higher than him. And
Yeah.
already he's starting to his motive to save Kafka is like getting him up there.
And I believe he's working that hard. Like, I
Mhm.
believe it. I've seen and read montages of people like working out, and it's kind of like, okay, I guess they're strong now, but like I believe that he's putting in the work, to get there. But that's when the alarms go off, and they do go on their first mission. And
we talked about it in the first part, but that's Kafka like compliments Kikaru.
Kikaru, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and then this is like emotion meter beeping. She's like, shut up.
Oh, that was very funny
Yeah,
too.
it was nice because he's just so like, you did it.
Yeah.
And you know her background, so you know that's probably the first time that's happened.
Yeah, man, she's not really getting acknowledged by anybody.
Mhm.
She's the character it's a given that all these amazing things that she does
She's supposed to do.
She's supposed to do those
Yeah.
things. Yeah. And here again, I think we did cover a lot of the stuff, but that does happen. But one specific thing that we didn't cover is, so obviously we see Mina with her huge fucking gun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Take out
shit's
the
lit.
kaiju.
And it's like 98%.
Yeah,
Even
which
Kikaru is like,
strong.
oh, that felt like all right, everyone just keep this in mind.
Dude, and the dialogue too. Soshiro's like, by the way, that's who you want to stand beside. And even Mina in her dialogue, in her internal monologue, I guess, is like, yeah, this is who I am now.
Mhm.
So like, I'm different, and this is what you have to work towards, And it's just like, God damn, It was such a badass moment too to see her just holding this like huge Gatling sci-fi
Yeah.
ray gun thing.
And Bolka guy was like, I'm not even close to that.
No.
yeah.
He's like, I am good with knives though.
Yeah, I got a sword.
Yeah.
Well, he has 2 swords, dude. And he's pretty fucking badass in his
He's
own
like,
right.
my
Pretty Attack on
family
Titan,
has
huh?
been fighting
It is.
monsters for like generations, and these are the blades of.
I can't wait to talk
My
about.
brethren.
Hopefully, if people want to see a part 3, I can't wait to talk about
At least one person definitely will.
Yeah, at least one person for sure will. To talk about him more and what his fighting style is and everything. But
And I like how he explains. I'm more of I handle groups of small creatures.
Yeah.
And then Mina's like, she's the one that takes out the bosses. I'm like, yes, of course, you were the rogue class.
Yeah.
Mina's the DPS. No, he's the DPS. She's not the tank.
She would be the tank, I guess, kind of, right? Because the tanks are the people who have the most power. They're the most powerful.
They should be.
Yeah. Megan is the tank, for sure. Megan the Tank Marine.
Oh, that's not bad.
But,
Thank you.
Hey,
Aww.
there we go. Dun, 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 dun.
But yeah, and Kafka makes himself useful again because...
And he goes in knowing that. He goes
Yeah.
immediately like, all right, time to... He just starts digging into the monsters, and all he's thinking is like, man, even 1% makes this way easier. Maybe we can maybe we can mass produce these and send them out to people. Like, it's just how his mind is always at like helping people.
Yeah.
On this like just consistent level. It's like it doesn't to seem, characters are written as like they want to help people.
You know what, dude? That's actually a really good point. Yeah, that he, even in the midst of all that, his mind was like about helping others on a like real level.
On the real,
Yeah.
like, the small
The working class
the working
people,
class
yeah.
level. He's thinking about that. That's all he's thinking. It's,
He's like, how can I save the entire city? He's like kind of doing that by helping his team, but he's also like, man, this could really help the boys out.
Yeah. It is. I don't need to have like multiple characters say like, you always want to help people. That's who you are.
Yeah.
You got to just see that that's who he is.
In small moments like that. Yeah, that's really fucking cool. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, he also, I think at this point too, we've seen we get this small sort of cut to I think at first it's a kaiju,
The mushroom things.
The humanoid kaiju's like on a toilet.
Oh
in
yeah,
a
we
stall.
got that. Yeah, one of the other. Yeah,
He's
like.
dressed like you.
Oh,
yeah, he's
actually, yeah.
that's
He's part of the cleanup crew, and he's in the bathroom, and he's like, "Come on, your break's over."
and he's like, I'm taking the shit.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh shit!" Then he goes back,
Well,
very
because-
Parasite-esque.
Yeah.
Goes
Yeah.
back into being a human, and he's like, "Oh, put your head on, right?" And he's like walking out of the thing. So he is like an undercover kaiju.
Yeah, and he's definitely the villain. And
Yeah.
he's
Because
got,
a human bug crawled into his mouth.
maybe. But he also says that he's also just kind of shocked that there were 0 casualties from the last incident. And that's why he's like, he's got his feet up on the toilet and he's like, 0? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I could have sworn that at least a couple humans would have got killed, And that's when he, Kaiju number 8 is like on his radar. But yeah, cut back to them now. And Reno and Iharu run into this, what they think at the time is just another sanitation department guy.
Yeah, they're like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well, he's talking shit. I don't know."
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, he's just.
You humans are so
Yeah, he's
easy to
villain
be
monologuing.
fooled.
Yeah, I like that they're like, human. You're a human.
yeah.
You're a human working in sanitation. What are you talking about? Yes, my cover of working in sanitation. Yeah, your job.
Yeah, dude. I guess our jobs are kind of all a cover,
I guess jobs are just a covers for the things in our lives, and
Yeah, they cover up our dreams, dude. You're kind of fucking right.
that's so true.
And he's like, no, I'm evil.
I'm an evil thing.
The design of this humanoid kaiju is so
Well,
fucking cool, too.
Yeah, that's the. You can read it in that voice.
Oh, that's what yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you should, when the anime gets made, you should voice the humanoid kaiju.
Oh, I should.
Yeah. We're starting a petition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he turns into, and like you said, a very Parasite-esque kind of transformation, and he turns into this humanoid kaiju.
Parasite the anime. I was thinking of the movie the whole time.
The Bong
No,
Joon-ho.
no.
I was like, that's a wild comparison.
I think he's, such a cool character, even in his human form. Like he reminds me a little bit of Illumi for some reason.
Oh, a little bit the eyes, the
Yeah,
dead eyes.
the eyes,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Now, for maybe less versed anime people, who's the Illumi?
Illumi is Killua's brother from
And
Hunter
Hunter
x Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Of
Your
course.
favorite anime.
Of course, the anime that I
Love.
enjoy.
You really do love it.
Yeah, you really do.
I didn't upset 2 people.
Maybe
At
more,
all.
dude. Yeah, and that's when we see this interaction unfold between the humanoid kaiju, between Iharu and between
Yeah.
Reno.
Kafka's moment after he like dissects is being like, oh, these are where his weak point is. Oh, and these are the kind that can regenerate. So make sure you shoot here. And everyone's just like, nice.
Yeah,
Kafka.
everybody's like, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like people don't go like, that's all he can do.
Nobody.
They're,
I love that.
They're just like, yeah, good job, Kafka.
Yeah.
Like that's his role. Like, all right, let's go do that now.
Yeah.
At least he's doing something.
Yeah, but they're like pretty grateful.
Yeah.
You know?
The commander's like, solid work.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Everybody's so positive, dude. But yeah, dude, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is volume 2. This is volume 2. This is volume 2 where we have such a cool moment between Reno and a character who I judged and who I thought for sure was going to be a completely different type of character.
Even in the fight a little bit, I was
Yeah.
like, come on. He's like, you're not the one saving me. I'm the one saving you.
Yeah,
and I was
and then-
like, he's doing it. Don't let him
Yeah.
save you.
And then you get the flashback showing it's because he was saved by Mina, and he's like, I'm still the one who's being saved.
Yeah.
It's not. No, I'm supposed to. I'm not going to be just a victim who gets saved again.
But then to so quickly, again, to go against tropes and so quickly come to the conclusion, like, I'm not mad at Reno. I'm mad at myself.
Yeah.
Dude. That happens so fast, and you're like, fuck, man, this is real emotion.
Yeah, I'm not jealous of him. I'm mad that I'm still the victim who needs to be saved.
Because
Yeah.
another manga or another anime would have set in that for a while, and that character would have came to that conclusion over the course of chapters or the entire
Just
fight.
narrating that while the entire
Yeah.
fight's happening.
But this happens immediately, and I'm like, that's how fucking people process shit. And they're like, damn, I'm mad at myself, you know? And it also makes me like want to root for him all of a sudden out of nowhere. I'm like, you know what, dude, you can fucking do it,
Yeah.
man, you know? But they also find out that he does end up staying because the humanoid kaiju has put this sort of dome over this vicinity that doesn't allow this signal that he thought he shot out for anybody to see it. So now he's like, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, one's been shot by the finger blast thing.
Yeah.
So it's just the friend. I don't remember the
Reno.
Reno.
Yeah.
It's just him, a wounded ally, and they're like, all right, let's do this.
Well, yeah, dude, and they're getting rocked too.
Reno's getting fucked up
Yeah.
for sure.
Because he's just pointing his fucking ET finger at the two of them, and it like bubbles up at the
Like,
tip.
bulges and explodes. And what I thought was really cool is like you get the thing of Kikuru.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, and I noticed that. So that's your signal. When the finger points back, that's when you know to attack. So
Yeah.
it is like, it's not even just he like realizes it on its own. It's sort of like, yeah, his teammate. You still like, even when they're not there, their teammates helping out.
Yeah, but I also didn't even think, what I thought was cool too, is I also didn't even think that Reno communicated that to Iharu.
That's where he gets his moment, which is like, oh, he is a quick-witted,
Yes.
analytical person too, and he's like, he was able to figure that out based on like
Dodge
the thing he
him,
saw.
yeah.
Which makes sense because that's what he's trained. That's what all this training is for.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they deserve to be in these positions they're in.
Yeah, so like even if he just stayed a dick, it would be like, well, at least like he is like skilled, but no, he's not even a dick. He's just a guy who was upset.
Yeah, and they're both like, again, this pulse that's being shot at them, you can't really see it. They're just going based on the finger movements, but they're still getting hit, man.
Yeah.
And they're getting like in the leg and in the arm and in the chest. And yeah, the suit does have regenerative properties, I
They
guess,
can,
but
like,
not much.
They're like, oh, you can like make it seal
Yeah.
the wound, and then also the monster even said, well, he's not trying to kill them.
Yeah.
He's trying to like, and that's the thing, like, it's so hard to not get the vital organs and still disable them. And he's even like, man, are you still? All right, do I gotta take your legs off? Fuck.
Yeah. And then he comes to the conclusion of, I don't even really need. I got this guy under control. I can just take this guy back as like a live testing subject. I don't need you anymore, right? To the other guy. But I believed all of this, you know. I believed, you know, Iharu, the guy, the hair guy, you know. I believed this turn that happened so quickly and, you know, made me want to root for him out of nowhere. Like, I believed that he was a good guy that was just trying to do his best, that like had his own internal battles that he was coming to terms with. Like, it's not about this guy. It's about me, and I'm mad at myself, and I need to pick myself up, and I'm not going to complain or whine about it. Like, I'm going to fucking do it. And I didn't feel like it was this cutout of a character that I had seen before or a moment that I had seen before.
No, this whole manga, I mean, in general, it's completely like just flipping what like you think it should be, like the tropes and stuff like that, like not following them, you know, using actual experiences and fighting and making that character progress within that moment versus like 2 volumes down the line. Like, it's really making the story flow really well and be more believable than like any other manga about kaijus.
Yeah.
So it's very nice to see that distinction between the
Yeah.
characters and the moments. So
Yeah, man. And, you know, upon even second read, it was just like, it hit me the same, if not harder. And I loved that. I loved that whole fight.
Yeah, I loved it. They got their team up moment of like, all right, one of us got to do this, one of us got to, and they get like a solid hit in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it was so nice that like it was like maybe they could have done it. Maybe
Well, yeah, because that's another good point. Even again, it goes against the norm. And the guy who does realize that it's not about him is like, okay, I realize that I'm not going to even be the one to get the final blow. Like, I realize, being analytical and logical about it, that I'm just going to be the distraction. And Reno is stronger. He's going to have to be the one to deliver this, like, final blow. So there's no ego involved in this at all either. He kind of sheds that really quickly, too.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of life and death. Like, it makes sense. Like, okay, I need to fucking try my best to get out of this situation.
But
I'm going
there's no moment.
to survive.
There's no moment where he's like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can muster all the strength I have. He doesn't waste any time on that.
Yeah, he's done enough.
Yeah.
He knows that he can't go any further. That's why he's not. You don't have that moment. He's like, oh, I see. This is where I lie. That's where he lies. He's gonna try. We're gonna try to get out of this together.
Yeah, it feels like he was accepting, like, Reno is stronger than me in this moment, and I'm gonna play my role in this moment. But after, if we can make it out of here alive, like I'm gonna work twice as hard to get stronger than you. But in this moment, I need to do what I gotta do.
They get their solid hit in, and the monster is just like, I have another trick.
Yeah, classic monster.
Classic monster.
Which was like it as far as like being like intimidating. That worked from where it conjures up a bunch of like monster flesh, and they're like, "What?" And it just like rips through it, and it's like, and it starts playing more seriously until
Oh yeah,
our boy returns, because
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like
the badass
something's
line.
going on with the guys. Kafka, and then
do you remember his exact line when he showed up?
Hey, dirtbag.
Yeah. So cool. I love it. He has these very cheesy lines when he shows up and then immediately can't commit to this character, this badass character. And the reason, because I think officially Volume 2 ends at Chapter 17, but the reason that we're talking about Chapter 19, 18, and 19 is because that's the end of this whole thing.
Well, we should do.
What should we do?
We should have a warning that we're going to talk about volumes 18 and 19 in volume 3. Chapters 19 and 18. Chapter 3, some sort of warning.
I think you just want Megan to get, or somebody to give us some sort of warning.
I think it'd be
going beyond volume 2.
It's
What? Come again? Oh, I got it.
Oh, well, I guess it's time to talk about spoilers, chapters 18 and 19 specifically.
Yeah. One more time? Yep, there
And
it is. That's the sound.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that, it's not like that's a bad note to end a volume on.
Yeah.
It's just not where that story part ends.
And the thing is, it's only 2 more chapters that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And like in 2 more chapters, you get like a bigger cliffhanger.
Yes, a way bigger cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Because all that really happens in those 2 chapters is Kafka shows up.
He does his punching, and they do the thing where I'm like, man, I hope Kafka can show up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they are gonna die,
Yeah.
because it's still playing with them. It's still being like, I gotta make sure and that's the nice thing. Anytime it's like, why doesn't it just like kill them if it can do all this? Well, it's not trying to.
Yeah.
So they're just surviving. They're not really gonna win this fight.
Yeah. And that's when we realized too, I think through Soshiro, that the energy signals that are being given off at this point means that there is the most powerful kaiju that they've come across. And that is supposed to be Kaiju number 8, because there's sub-tiers of kaijus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get the nice issue where they're like, we're being attacked by a humanoid kaiju.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now there's going to be 2 here.
Yeah. And so I think that's important to note too, that
the reason it's they title particularly powerful kaiju that get away. It's instead of like, because normally like they just kill them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they also have like different, like I think, isn't Honju, like there's different names for the different, like the little minion kaiju, and then the kaiju, and then the humanoid kaiju. Like outside of them having their own names, like Kaiju number 8 or numbers, they do have like, it starts with a D. I can look it up.
And there's like a power scale, which he's at 9 on, where I'm like, All right, it doesn't have to be 8 on the power scale because I guess that would be confusing if he's also an 8 power scale monster and he's the 8th one. Then it's like, is 8 important?
Yeah. 8 is symbolic of something, I'm assuming.
Is it because if you turn it around, it's infinite?
It's because he
shit.
ate a bug.
Megan?
I wasn't on board for it for like a split second.
You fucking did it.
You
dude.
just did it. Oh my god, it's Kaiju 8. He ate a Kaiju.
Oh, Megan, you fucking genius, dude. Oh, man. I'm
Kaiju
here
8,
for
Kaiju
it, dude.
8, bug.
Wow, dude. Wow. I think we fucking solved it, dude. I think we cracked this manga wide open.
Spoilers for the ending of Kaiju number 8 where they drop that bomb.
Dude. Yeah, dude. We're ahead of it. Oh, man. I mean, my brain needs a second to recover.
I mean, this is why, like, this
is why we do what we do. What more can I say?
This is what we're doing. This
is why we're here, man. This suit is so hot that I'm in, too.
It's actually, and like, I'm already pretty heated right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what's going on in there.
I'm dying in here.
Dying inside.
That too, a little bit. Not
Both.
really. I love everybody and myself. Feels forced.
Can we get that on paper?
But it's true. It's true.
And Kafka does like pretty. He like wins the fight pretty easily, and like, it's for reference. As far as it being an issue for me, it's a 1 out of 10. It is still a thing of like
He's like, I can't regenerate fast enough. He's to do me, and then he's just like, boom, messing with my friend, boom,
fucking him up, dude.
Yeah.
and and his friend's like, I wasn't strong enough to. Stop.
And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. And then we can't forget the kaiju roar. That.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
he went, whoa.
Yeah, dude. And then just these fucking sound beams, like fucking stop this giant fucking.
Oh yeah,
pulse.
when it's like it does like it releases like 30 arms, and the people realize, it was just fucking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that kaiju roar, man. If and when this gets an anime adaptation, that moment's gonna be so fucking cool, dude. I can't
Because you get
wait.
the roar of the beam, and then his roar, and like how those are gonna like.
Yeah. And just hearing like the power of the roar, you know.
Again, like all the fights are awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's like panel for panel is just like this is very high intensity fighting. It's not like I'm just like, okay, they're fighting now. It's like,
Yeah, dude.
I'm actually okay, cool.
Yeah, dude, even in the manga, they're like really enjoyable, really easy to read, but also like very fluid and badass. And sometimes, you know, those things get lost in that sort of format, but they're very clear.
Yeah, you know what?
in this series.
Because there are fights like in Hell's Paradise where like they have to explain exactly what techniques are happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone's gonna do a kick, you have to find out that they're doing this style, and it's this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing, and you have to like list everything about that kick. You know, where I guess I'm thinking like if they did that, where if he went like, and then I can do this move I learned to like make the jet propulse from my fist, and that's gonna release my ultimate. I probably would have enjoyed it less.
You're absolutely right.
And it's also, I mean, they're not doing that because like he's not like your point. Like he hasn't learned anything about what he's doing. He's just going off of his instincts and fighting. Like when has he ever fought a fucking kaiju? Like this is his first time fighting one, and he's just like, okay, I'm strong. I guess this will work.
If it is a like a symbiosis thing, which I'm a huge fan of symbiosis.
We know
things where it's like, because again, he did fuse with a bug. He ate the bug. It's inside him. It became a part of him.
We get it.
So like,
Go ahead. I don't want you to lose steam. Go ahead.
He ate a bug.
Oh, he stole your thunder.
No.
Yeah, imagine someone's like, "Oh, Cody, you fucking did it!" Like watching they like fast forward my part.
that'd be
They
the
give you
thing that I
credit for it.
invented,
Yeah,
and then you,
you
Josh,
can stop saying it now because then they're gonna take it back to
I didn't agree.
But I
Where
think
if it is the thing of like the monster element, whatever that is, it's like an adaptive learning thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it was like if he like reacted like surprise when it did it, it probably would have been like not an issue for me at all. Like if he went like time to punch it and like a jet just shot him, like, and he just rolled with it, which I believe he would. Yeah. I think if a jet came out of his
100%.
arm, he'd be like, "All right, let's do this."
Yeah.
So and that could be. We still don't know what his form is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a thing of like, all right, if he's not going to train, like he didn't train with this, it is just he's instinctually fighting, and it just does exactly what he needs it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, there's a little thing about that.
I think there will be, And again,
I mean, there's no way there's not going to be a thing with a bug crawling in his mouth and turning
and
him
saying
into it.
"found you."
And there is no
Found
way that
you.
he's not going to hit his wall eventually. There is no way, because this villain maybe gives an empty threat when it retreats. It says
And
that now that I know what you're capable of, like next time you're dead, and I don't know how.
Now I
real
know
that
your
is.
profile. You're
Yeah.
dead next time I see
Great
you.
fucking voice.
It's kind of like Skeletor.
The more you do,
That's
the
why I
more
like
I
it.
do hear. Like, I think that does suit.
It
that thing.
fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like you said. I
The
think
fight
you hit on
gets, like-
something. He doesn't have to walk you through everything that's happening or train to get these power up moves. They just sort of happen. But I do think he's gonna hit his wall eventually.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he hasn't. Yeah, he like took the thing by surprise, and it was like a leader type monster that was mostly just reviving them. That's what, like, it just left the first time because he's like,
I'm gonna retreat.
I'll revive this monster and I'll let it like kill a bunch of people. And he's like on his phone, he's like, what? It didn't kill anyone? Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like then the fight gets like he's about to full on kill it, but then they're like, hey, we found the humanoid kaiju that we were told exists.
Yeah.
Like,
Not the right one.
But
Wrong guy. You got the wrong
Wrong one. And he's like, huh?
Well, yeah, because it's during him fucking up the other humanoid kaiju, the dome, kind of dissipated, and that's why they're able to come through and see them, and it gives them the other humanoid kaiju the perfect opportunity to escape, and then Kafka is like, I got to get the fuck out of here, like punches the ground so all this debris and smoke comes up and uses that as a cover to kind of like jump away, and tries to return to his human form in an alleyway. And right as he's about to do that, he is seen and confronted.
Of course.
Dun dun dun.
Wow.
So Shiro, the bowl cut lieutenant captain guy,
Bowl cut Louis.
bowl cut Louis, and
yeah, that does feel like more of the end of that arc and the beginning of the new one.
And we finally see his eyes, and they're all like different colors.
oh yeah, dude.
And he's like, he's finally ready to defeat kaijus, and he's like, he's all serious.
Yeah, and I've read ahead, so I know. I mean, for when we did the volume 1, I couldn't stop reading.
I'm just kidding.
This was in the episode.
I'm joking. What the fuck, bro?
It's in the, look at the tapes. It's in the tapes.
It's in the
It's
tape.
in
Yeah,
the
no,
tapes.
I've read. I read way past it.
Yeah.
It is a great scene, and we'll talk about it in maybe another video. But
We love to talk more about this series, but that's pretty much all
that's
that
volume
happens.
2.
Yeah,
and 2 chapters.
volume 2 plus 2 chapters. But yeah, this is kind of new to us. This is something that we've never really done before, but it's
fun.
It's so fun, and I think
Yeah.
it's a series that really merits a discussion more than just it's a new series. So to do a volume done on it, it just won't happen for a long time. So I think that being able to do, I guess, as Volume 1-chan coined it, a volume sum, is something that for this series especially, I think we'd all like to do a little bit more of. So yeah, if this is something that you liked watching and listening to, let us know, and we'll do a part 3. But Cody seems to have found something from Megan's notebook that he'd like to read.
Oh no,
Read to the class.
Well, we won't talk about the drawing she did because it was.
I think we should talk about it.
We won't.
It was just a mistake. My
was-
proportions were all wrong, and I was just eyeballing it, and it didn't end up as well
It
as
was
I wanted
supposed to look
it
like
to.
a face, but it looks like something else.
It looks like a butthole. Mouth.
His mouth did look like a butthole though in that scene.
I don't remember any butthole mouths.
When he's like, when he's on the car, and he's like, oh, and he like has his cheeks all out, and he's gonna barf, and they're like, he's like, I ate too much, and they're like, why would you eat too much if you're nervous?
Yeah, didn't remember seeing a butthole.
His face is like, his mouth is like puckered up.
Right. Don't. Yeah. Wow. When you said puckered right now.
Mounds of nothing sounds familiar.
Sent a shiver down my spine.
LMFAO.
Say that again.
Mounds of nothing sounds familiar. LMFAO.
Oh my God, Megan, are you roasting yourself in your notebook?
I thought it was funny.
I mean, it is hilarious. Even funnier that you did it to yourself.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it?
It's very funny.
And because she like drew herself laughing.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
That's the
panel in
emotion
the
I
manga.
felt when I was reading it.
Hey, look, Megan, I'm glad that this series connected with you.
It did.
And it connected with us, and I hope it connected with you.
Yeah, and she wrote a dirtbag talking about. Is that when that guy got his
Yeah.
moment? Yeah.
And I only wrote hot once, so be proud of me.
You know, and you didn't
He wrote adorable.
You didn't spend the entire episode drooling
No.
over
I
Kafka's kaiju form either, which thank you for that.
I
too.
also almost forgot the bonus chapters that we get with the art.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want a fucking
Like an
wall
art book,
scroll
yeah.
or an art book. They're like so well done and like so beautiful.
This
Yeah.
is already something. I want that poster of him where he's got that like fist with all the energy crackling.
I want
off
a
him.
body pillow
I was also
of kaiju form and then regular
Yeah.
Kafka
Yes.
form.
because I was saying like it's a good
great
idea.
idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking like I don't know if I want a poster of Kafka or his kaiju form more, and I think I actually want of
Kafka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just such a likable character.
I like Kafka more than the kaiju
Yeah. Same.
But you can't have the kaiju without
Without
Kafka.
without the Kafka.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and thank you guys for listening. Like we said earlier, we'd love to do a part 3 of this series talking about the chapters that follow. If you like this video, make sure to like it, leave a comment on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're a
Ring
Patreon
some sort
member,
of bell.
ring a bell.
Ring a bell if we done well.
Ring a bell if we've done well. Ring a bell. Does ringing a bell ring a bell? It should.
That rings the bell of subscribing to our.
Subscribing to our
Right.
channel and joining our Discord.
Yeah, hopping in our Discord,
It's
which is completely
fun.
and entirely free to do.
It's free.
And if you do,
We definitely don't get insulted on it.
No.
yeah, definitely. They're not slowly turning on us.
Not
definitely.
roasting.
Um,
Yeah.
We don't get roasted ever.
No, not in there.
No,
No,
not there.
never.
Yeah, and if you want to see us not get roasted in our own Discord, then you can join the Volume 1 Discord, which we have a lot of subsections in there that talk about different things, a manga section, an anime section, and plenty other sections. And if you haven't joined the Patreon member, you could do that too by going to patreon.com/volume1pod. And if you are a Patreon member, thank you so fucking much. Round of applause for all of our Patreon members.
Daisuke.
For all of our Patreon members, we fucking love you, and we love you even if you're not. We love everybody for watching and listening.
See, if I just Gozaimasu is
Oh,
the
God.
part that makes it not just me quoting a song.
More song humor. Really.
No, it wasn't.
Oh
It
my
specifically
God. So
wasn't.
you don't
I
like
just said
Tenacious
it
D?
wasn't.
I love Tenacious D.
Okay, then
because
you can't.
that's
No,
going back
no,
to
no,
that's
no,
not
no,
Hold
no.
on.
Everything you said
That's
about musical humor, they are musical. That is musical.
But they
humor.
write their own original music, and they're very extremely talented. They play their own fucking
Oh
instruments
my
too.
God! So does fucking Weird Al.
Oh, does he play his little?
He play. Yeah, that's
Key-
very hard
guitar?
to learn. No, accordion,
It's an accordion.
guitar, vocals.
We can table
the
this?
list goes on. Yes, guitar,
Sure,
piano.
sure.
The list goes on.
Sure,
He's
I'm just
very
saying-
talented at composing music.
No, he
and
doesn't even. He doesn't compose music. This is an argument we had in a previous
No,
episode.
no, you're
people
wrong.
were
You
hurt
can't
by your
say he
opinion.
That's not true.
Josh, people
Yeah.
were hurt
I understand people were a little hurt
because it doesn't make sense. Why do you not find joy in that?
because it's corny.
But you find joy in Tenacious D.
Because
Yeah.
they write their own music and their own melodies.
So does Weird Al.
No one cites those songs when they talk about Weird Al. They cite
When
the
I did,
parody
you just
song.
went, that doesn't count.
Because you're the only person that I've ever come across that has mentioned his
No,
original.
So you
because
like
when you
Flight
talk
of the,
about
Flight of the
Weird Al,
Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords is in the middle. We should just fade out
Yeah.
on us arguing.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Flight of the Conchords, I'm in
Okay.
the middle on that.
Okay,
didn't
we'll
wa-
talk about this at our meeting,
Yeah, sure.
but I just want to say that it might get heated.
It's probably going to get heated.
It's gonna get buffalo sauce. Here.
Oh. Well, all that's left
Maybe
now to
some
do is we're
celery.
going to argue after this episode is over.
Too true, man.
But all that's left now to do is to get out of here on our outro. That's always the same. It never changes, which today, of course, is...
Bug off.
Just- okay, yeah.
Uh,
But I just feel... I do like...
That would have been better for the first part.
Yeah. But it does also feel like mean. I don't want people watching and listening to bug off. I'm going to bug on.
We'll bug you till you read Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
Eat a bug, get some hugs.
Mm-mm.
Eat a bug and eat a bug with your buds.
Eat a bug, cut the rug.
Ugh.
Cut the rug means dancing.
I know. You
Kaiju?
fucking 80-year-old.
More like, do you?
Huh?
Kaiju? More like, could you read Kaiju number 8?
Um,
Kaiju 8? More like
Kaiju great.
Kaiju great.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
Kaiju 8? More like Kaiju great. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love a big monster daddy? Who doesn't love a big buff monster kaiju, man?